Dynamics RMS allows for very flexible and powerful management of items. To view and edit item properties, go to the Database menu, Items, or click the Items icon on the menu bar. This window can also be accessible from the POS when adding items to transactions. It is possible to copy, delete, and create a new item from this window. This should be considered when setting up your cashier's security. Double-click on an item to view its properties. The General tab contains descriptive and high-level information about the item. The item lookup code is your unique code used to identify the item in your store. It is also used to create the barcode for the item. The description field can contain up to 30 characters. If more detail is required, the extended and subdescriptions can also be used. The barcode drop-down allows you to define the barcode type. The item type can be chosen, and if the item is part of a matrix, lot matrix, or assembly, the parent to the item will show up here. Choose a department, category, item tax, price, and cost. If the price or cost is changed, the profit margin field will automatically be calculated. The Inventory tab contains live figures of the item's inventory status with historical information. It is possible to modify the on-hand and committed inventory manually, but this is not a good practice. It is possible to cause this type of inventory adjustment to prompt for a reason code, which will help track quantity changes. The available value displays the result of on-hand quantities minus quantities that are committed. You can also view how many of this item is on a purchase order or in the process of being transferred out of the store. The unit of measure field is just a text space that can be used to describe what one of this item represents. The offline value will display how many of this item is currently in the offline inventory, which is a place that items can go when they are not actively being sold. Clicking the View Offline button will link directly to the store's current offline inventory values. Historical information can also be seen in this tab, along with a place to store the replacement cost of the item. The bottom right of this tab contains two very important values. Although not mandatory, defining the restock level and reorder point will be extremely valuable in the reorder process. The restock level is the quantity of this item that the store desires after an order would be received. If the current quantity of an item is equal to or lower than the reorder point, then the item will be flagged to appear on a purchase order created with these levels. For example, if the restock level is 15 and the reorder point is 5, then a purchase order based on reorder information will be created with 10 of this item. Under the Supplier tab, you can define all of the suppliers that provide this item. A similar view can be found in the supplier record itself. Note that from this view you can select a primary supplier to order this item from. The reorder number column can hold the number that a supplier wants to see on a purchase order. In some cases, this is different than the item lookup code and may be required when ordering. The minimum order column contains the minimum number of this item that must be ordered when placing a purchase order with this supplier. This is used in conjunction with the MPQ, or Master Pack Quantity, which specifies if an item must be purchased in multiples, for example 12 in a box. The cost column shows the supplier cost, which will show up on a purchase order when this item is ordered specifically from that supplier. Add or delete supplier lines using the buttons on the right and the primary button to change the primary supplier setting. Under the Pricing tab, it is possible to set an item's standard price and cost, and also to manage the item's price levels. If a customer is a price level A customer and they purchase this item at the point of sale, they will be charged the price level A price. If relevant, set the manufacturer's suggested retail price here. The lower and upper price bounds determine the lowest and highest price that an item may be sold for at the POS. If this item is set to be on sale, you may enter the sale price and specify the duration that the sale is in effect. You may also have the item be on sale based on a preset schedule, which can be defined under the Database Schedules section, which we will cover in another tutorial. Finally, use the buy-down price and quantity to sell a set amount of this item at a specific price. This may be used when trying to clear out a shelf of older items by offering a lower price on those, while the remaining quantity are sold at regular price. The Discounts tab allows for the allocation of a discount scheme for this item. Select from predefined mix and match or buy X, get Y for Z schemes, or create a quantity discount table for this item specifically. The Commission tab allows you to choose between two types of commission schedules. Base this item's commission on the schedule defined for the sales rep. We'll look to your sales rep setup to determine the commission rates. It is also possible to create a specific commission schedule for this item, as defined below. You may select commission based on a fixed amount per item sold, a percentage of the sale, or a percentage of the profit. It is also possible to set a maximum commission that must be paid out for this item. The Aliases tab allows the setup of a list of aliases for this item. An alias is like an alternate item lookup code. At the point of sale, you can enter or scan in an item using the alias, and the proper item will be added to the transaction. In some cases, manufacturers will print their own barcode directly onto an item's packaging. That barcode can be set up as an alias by clicking Add and then scanning in the barcode. Like an item lookup code, aliases must also be unique. Use the Substitutes tab to specify equivalent items that the cashier can suggest to a customer when this item is temporarily out of stock. The cashier will be prompted with this list when the out-of-stock item is added to a transaction. Click the Special tab. Here you can specify a tag-along item that will be automatically added to the transaction whenever this item is added. Some items, like lot matrix items, may be made of a certain quantity of another item. For example, a 6-pack of soda is made of 6 cans. In RMS, the 6-pack would be the parent item, with the child quantity being 6. Use this lookup section to define this item's parent. It is also possible to set up verbal messages that pop up whenever an item is added to a transaction. Define the item messages under Database, Item Messages, and assign that message to the item here. You can specify the bin location, weight, and tare weight of this item if applicable. In addition to the various description fields for an item, it is also possible to keep notes regarding this item. These notes will not show up on any purchase orders or receipts. Finally, it is possible to assign a picture file to this item, which may show up on your web store or net display. Use the lookup field to browse for the picture that is appropriate for this item. The Serial and Kit tabs are only active for those types of items and are used to create and manage serial numbers and to build or break a kit item. The last tab in the item properties, Options, contains a number of checkboxes that affect this item's behavior. Must enter price at the POS will cause a window to prompt the cashier to enter a price for this item when it is added to a transaction. It is possible to accept food stamps for an item. By checking Quantity Entry at POS Not Allowed, the cashier will not be able to manually adjust the quantity of an item after it is scanned in. This will essentially force the cashier to scan each item one at a time. Item is not discountable at the POS will prevent any discounts from being applied to the item. If the store is integrated with a website, this checkbox will cause the item to be available on the website. By setting an item to inactive, the item will still retain its sales history, but will not show up on reports or in your item list. This is the preferred alternative to deleting an item, which should never be done on an item with sales history. To prevent the purchasing of an item, use this checkbox to prevent it from being placed on a purchase order. The right-hand portion of this tab can be used to block the sales of this item for a specific period, or based on a schedule. The cashier will be given a written reason to explain why the item is blocked. In the very bottom left of the Item Properties window, there are quick links to print labels for this item, or to view an item movement report based on this item's activity. Click OK to save your changes.